All right. Well, earlier was already halfway through this, and shout out to Sebastian. He's a guy that lives in the building that I work in.
Okay.
Last time he hooked me up with a German beer when he last went there, and recently he went to Japan and he picked me up this Kirin beer. Check this out.
Ooh,
So I
that looks interesting.
all the way to the top. I'll send you the picture after the chat's done. I've
Beauties.
already drank half of it. If I drink the other half, my wife will kill me. So I'll save the rest for her. It's great. And shout out to Sebastian once again. Thank you. I told him about this podcast. So when he asked about it, I told him, we had to reschedule for this Monday. And yeah, thanks for the hookup, man. This is fantastic. I'm not a big beer guy, so I really don't have any points of references here.
Right.
Aside from Sapporo, which is like one of my favorite beers of all time. So
Four is good stuff.
it's very similar, but it's also a little less. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Less potent than Sapporo, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know beer. I just drink it socially and I enjoy it for what it is. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
but
Like anything, like the turpentine I drink, it's an acquired taste.
but
Um,
it's not all. Because I told you I wanted to get liquored up real good
let's
today.
do it.
So
What we got?
I went ship something out the game and I had to ship it out. So I figured let me hit up the liquor store and see what
Okay.
I can get. So I
Let's.
picked up these two margaritas, wine cocktails
Okay.
from a company called Rancho La Gloria.
Okay.
And check this out. All
Yep.
right, so
Both
we
agave.
got
Yep. 100%. So that's definitely tequila. And you
we
got
got a
lime.
green. No. This is green apple, and then we have a pink lemonade, and they
Okay.
have lime in there. They both have lime.
Nice. Probably some.
They're
Probably some Blanco tequila. 13.9%. Hot damn. Now, did you have the beer first or did you have the liquor first?
I had the beer first. Now I'm jumping
Okay.
into liquor.
You know what
I
they
poured
say:
myself a little bit.
beer before liquor, get drunk quicker.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say.
Oh, well, you guys are in for a treat tonight
Oh fuck
because I'm
yeah!
going off.
And
So
and like I said, and because I had a boomer moment, I didn't add myself into the chat so nobody could fucking hear a word I was saying when I first did the introduction. I guess I will go ahead and just say I'm doing Four Roses single barrel straight Kentucky bourbon. And this stuff is 50% alcohol by volume. So,
wow.
oh yeah, you know me.
So we're gonna get good
We're gonna get a
good
good
drunk
buzz. We're
today.
gonna get a good buzz tonight. As good a buzz as a work weekday allows.
Well,
So
it's my weekend technically, so
fucking a. Now that's even better. So that's
only
it.
off
It's
day
your.
I
So I
get.
always like to give. It's round two. I always like to kind of give my guest the first interrogation. So what's on your mind tonight, man? What do you got? What's going on up there?
Well, I'm glad to finally have a day off. I felt like I worked every day last week, which I technically did if you count morning shifts.
Right.
Uh, it's just been I want to sit down, I want to enjoy some games, but I also want to make some content. Now,
The
the thing
constant
is,
struggle.
I have stuff already like filmed that I need to like edit and put together. So I'm just gonna try to focus on that this week
Yeah.
and try to get those out for the channel. I'm kind of not in my usual attire. No bandana today. No character specific colored shirt. Just a Mighty Morphin Green Ranger hoodie to
In honor of Tom. Yep.
in honor of Jason David Frank.
Jason David Frank, who seemed to be like a genuinely amazing human, man. That hit me
I
when he went. That hit me.
That hit me so hard, dude.
Uh,
I He was my favorite growing up. I had his like plushie doll that had like the hard head. I had like I loved the Green Ranger. I loved Tommy Oliver, the character, and I had just recently got into Power Rangers again like rekindling that love a couple of years back.
Okay.
And I was like, one of these days I'm going to a Power Ranger convention or just a convention where he's at so I could meet him finally. And when the news broke, it was last year, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Um, I think it was on my birthday I heard the news
Oh,
because it
shit.
happened. My birthday's on the 21st.
It
And I
was
think it was
it
around
was such an unexpected tragedy too, man. Like,
it was so like depressing and sad, and it's just
guy was in great shape. He was doing MMA. Like, having a
it's
good. He was having a fabulous life too. It just goes to show
as
you
far as we know.
you have to enjoy it while you can. You have to.
I know.
You can literally. I mean, heck, your ticket can get punched literally any time, man.
Well, who knows what demons he was going through that
You
made him
never
want to
know.
take his life.
You never
So
know. Yeah, you never
yeah,
know. But it's just one of those deals where it's such an ephemeral existence we have, man. But
I know.
yeah, Power Rangers. Like me and my best friend at the time, his name was Jeremy, and we were secret Power Rangers fans. Okay, so what that means is, technically speaking, we were too old for that shit, but we watched anyway. We
I,
watched.
I
But he had a little brother named Justin, and we used to, in order to preserve our coolness, we would tease the shit out of him about the Power Rangers. Again, we were fans. We watched the same fucking show, but
freaking
we'd be like,
hypocrites.
I'll never forget. Yeah, absolute hypocrites. Yeah, we were little shits, man. But I'll never forget Jeremy being like, "Hey, Justin, you know where the Power Rangers get their power?" And Justin's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, they hook hoses up their dicks and it gives them power." And he go crying to his mom. And it's just like, yeah, we were total hypocrites. But yeah, we watched the show for real. But yeah, like we'd watch the show, and so our excuse was Justin was watching the show, and then we would watch the show, and then like Jeremy, and then I would even kick in. Sometimes we'd like cheer when they would get hurt and shit.
Yeah.
But we were secretly fans. Like it was like his dorky younger brother loved him, so we couldn't be seen as
All
like
right.
him. But it was a good
Of
show.
course,
Yeah,
you guys are too cool.
OG Power Rangers was great. All the way like Rita, all the way through Lord Zed. And then you get like the mechanical guys, and I kind of stuck around a little bit for that. And that's when I kind of offboarded with like the robot guys.
If we're going to go be honest here, I fell off a little bit before, right as the transition was happening.
Uh huh.
So it's odd to me that
So
I
like
fell off
Zeo
so
or after
soon.
Zeo?
No, like right into Zeo
It's
when
right into
they were
Zeo. Okay.
like, it was. I remember it was when Alien Rangers started showing up, and they were
Okay.
the main Power Rangers were kids.
Yeah.
I wasn't on board for that. I just moved on, and it wasn't until years later I discovered Dino Thunder, and I was like, "Holy crap! They brought back Tommy Oliver,
Oh
Jason
shit.
David Frank."
Okay.
So, and then at that point, I was like, "Okay, I know Power Rangers is a thing. I haven't watched it in years." So, like a couple years back, I decided to like buy some of the DVDs. I started buying some of the figurines and stuff like that, and the action figures, and I got really into it again. I watched through Zeo. Zeo is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I've always wanted to kind of go through and just marathon the Rangers and just see which ones I like the best. I've just never had time to do it. But so Zeo is good.
Zeo is great. Turbo, I only cared for Divatox because Divatox was like hot.
Right. No,
and
I think Power Rangers was a lot of young boys' introduction to that side of things. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I don't think
I,
there's many who watch the show that would disagree.
right. I mean, I remember seeing the first movie in theaters with my father and sister. That was an experience. But yeah, I mean, going back, it's like it's so corny, but it's so bad it's good at the same time. And I mean, hell, I was a huge Power Rangers mark as a kid when that shit was like brand new because I was the market demographic, right?
Right.
So I was what 5 years old in 95, 96. Oh my god, dude! I had the toys. Like I said, I had the plush dolls. I had a Power Rangers birthday party. I dressed up as the Blue Ranger for Halloween one year. I still have the pictures.
Okay. Nice. So
So,
that was see for me it was the Ninja Turtles. Like, I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles.
I
Um,
like them too.
I even had a
I like
Ninja
them
Turtle
too.
cake. But now, did you like the Power Rangers movie with Ivan Ooze? Did you like that one?
Absolute. I had a Power Ranger. I had I had a Turtles birthday party as well.
Oh, nice.
Because Turtles it started in the late '80s,
Right.
still carried over the animated series into
Yeah,
like the
it
early
lasted
'90s,
like 9 fucking
a
seasons, bro.
long time, and then the movie, the freaking 1990 movie,
I
1991 was it
adored the
1991?
movie.
Still the best movies. The first two,
Yeah,
still my favorite Ninja
far
Turtle
more
movies.
based on the comics and the TV show, and man,
So good. And then the games, I played the games growing up. I loved Ninja Turtles. I loved Power Rangers. Together, they were like peanut butter and chocolate. You know what I mean?
oh
Oh,
yeah, that's the reason.
childhood was amazing, my friend.
In the 90s, yeah, like I often tell people, like all these kids, like it's like, yeah, you know, I'm sure whatever you're watching, SpongeBob and Vader Zim, I'm sure it's all great, but it ain't got shit on the 90s, man. And then you got like all
No,
the
absolutely.
derivatives. You've got like biker mice from Mars and fucking street sharks and like all you got
Oh,
all the
Street
toxic
Sharks.
crusaders. You got all like the fucking wannabes and derivatives, and those were fucking cool too, man.
You remember Big Bad Beetleborgs?
Big bad Beetleborgs, I do. What is it?
Oh man,
VR Troopers.
VR Troopers was another one. Yeah, they were
Yeah,
all owned
like
by Saban, who bought like the series rights from Japan. And remember Masked Rider, which was Common Rider, basically localized and brought over to America.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, so okay, so Victoria says, did you know there was a Fusion comic book series recently that was TMNT and Power Rangers? No, I didn't, but I need that in my fucking life now.
There was, and in fact, that they mentioned that there's actually the toy line that they do, the Lightning Collection. They actually have action figures of that crossover. So
Well, I'll tell
it's
you,
quite cool. You got to check it out.
I will have to check that out. The Ninja Turtles actually recently had a really beastie comic recently run, like it was the Last Ninja or whatnot. And
The Last Ronin, right?
Last Ronin was fucking. Oh my god, that comic book was fucking beastie.
I
Like
heard great things about it. I haven't read it,
no
but I've
spoilers
heard great
then, but
things.
yeah, I won't even spoil who the Last Ronin is, although you might have already heard it. But it's it, it's not who you would think. Put it that way.
Yeah, I heard.
Especially considering the personality shift. Like it's good. It's really good. But yeah, I'll tell you what, the '90s in terms of cartoons was a vibe, but man, it's a good thing we had the cartoons because, like, if you're looking back, honestly, '90s in some ways was kind of fucked up. Certainly wasn't in the cartoons department for sure. Like, yeah, we had Rocco's Modern Life, we had fucking
Doug.
Are You Afraid of the Dark? So many
Oh,
fucking
Are You
good.
Afraid of the
Are You
Dark
Afraid
was
of the
my.
Dark is a banger, homie.
Me and my sister used to watch that all the time. I
Vicky,
remember we used to always. You remember the intro for Are You Afraid of the Dark?
oh yeah, yeah, with the fucking
That,
scary ass clown in the attic.
yes.
Yeah,
Was it a clown or a leprechaun
like
that
a
they like
leprechaun or whatever the fuck it was. It was scarier than shit, man.
always had to look away during that part of the intro
Creepy
because I
ass,
freaking hated that thing.
creepy ass shit. And then Pete and Pete, which is probably still one of
Pete
the
and Pete.
Pete. Yeah, Adventures of
Oh
Pete and Pete
my.
is still one of the weirdest fucking shows you'll ever watch anywhere. Like
Do
everybody
you
should watch through that fucking show at least once. That show
dude
to me like
90s
embodies being a kid.
90s Nickelodeon was untouchable.
Absolutely untouchable. Yeah, there was so
You
much great
remember
shit.
do you remember Salute Your Shorts?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, salute your
Oh my
shorts.
god.
Hey, dude, fucking the Legends of the fucking Hidden
From the
Temple.
hidden Yes, Legends of the Hidden Temple. I'm always a Barracuda guy, man. Those were my team.
God, that's good stuff. So, man,
Man, you brought it way back.
the member berries are strong tonight. Shit. Um,
Strong.
very strong. So that kind of covers what we've been kind of thinking about watching. What you've been playing lately? Because I know you mentioned it's
Oh,
kind of a content gaming struggle, but I'm swearing off Morrowind for the next 2 weeks. I've got to get some fucking content done, and I've got to get some Switch games. Oh my god,
I had it at the ready, but as soon as you were going to mention it, I knew you were going to mention Morrowind. I had to pop it out. Just got
Oh
it recently in the
my,
claim sale, baby.
holy shit. That's the
Game of the
Xbox
Year
one.
edition.
That's the Xbox one.
All the DLC and they're like
Well, the
all
DLC.
3 campaigns.
Well, you ain't missing much if you don't touch the DLC. Those DLCs are bad. That's before
I'm
Bethesda.
sure.
That's before Bethesda got a handle on the DLCs. But the Morrowind itself is probably my favorite gaming world anywhere.
I played a little bit just to get some footage for my next pickups video, and I was shocked. I was like,
that game will
some of
swallow
the
you.
songs, some of the songs from Skyrim are in here. Well, I guess Morrowind had songs that were like remixed for Skyrim, and I fucking love Skyrim, dude. Morrowind. I really want to get back and play some of these older ones because,
Dude, if you
like,
see,
I have them.
do you have a PC?
No, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
I do, but like
Okay.
not for gaming
I was gonna
or
say
anything like that.
really and again, Morrowind on Xbox is fine. If that's, and honestly, you'll get the most distilled, like, perfect version in terms of what was available to the developer in terms of the limitations. But that world
It's
in
backwards, by the way.
what is
Morrowind. It's backwards compatible on the Xbox One and Xbox Series.
that's fucking awesome, man.
So that's
Morrowind, yeah, Morrowind is it's a vibe. It's a vibe for sure. Yeah, and Victoria's not wrong. Definitely watch a beginner video about common mistakes because the game isn't that coherent to modern gaming sensibilities, and it's not. But if you let that world grab you, if you start to read into the lore of the world, and you start to get into that story of what's going on in the background, there's nothing else like Morrowind. There is nothing else quite like it. And see, what I've got going on is I'm playing Tamriel Rebuilt right now, which I also help kind of bug test on that. And that
Mhm.
basically is slowly but surely adding the mainland Morrowind along with quests, factions, everything onto the game. And so they've basically added, there's more content on the fucking mainland now than there is on the island. And it's all really good.
I've heard you've mentioned it in your podcast lately, and I've been watching them. I've been
Oh yeah.
watching them,
Yeah, on
and
those, yeah, you said you got those long ass commutes too, so I'm glad you're getting some time off from that shit, man.
thank you for those podcasts. By the way, you and Jay are keeping me going.
Jay, yeah,
You,
Jay is by the way, I can't wait, just so everybody knows, Jay's dropping something really new sometime coming soon. It's gonna be Cold Nights TV, baby. It's gonna be awesome. I am
oh
super
yeah,
looking forward to what he's cooking. So yeah, definitely gonna be checking that out. But yeah, Morrowind in terms of I've got to get away from it though. I've got to finish Baldur's Gate 3. I've got to get some Switch content done. I'd like to dive more into World of Horror, which is really
hmm
drawing me too. And then I've got to finish Mario Wonder. If you can believe it or not, I still haven't fucking done that, being the Mario fan that I am.
Well, I've been taking my time with it. I just got it
Me too.
recently. Check this out.
Exactly. Yep, there it is.
This this
Nope.
came in with a purchase at Best Buy. My mother-in-law fucking got it for me, and I hell, free game. I played still early into the game. I just did the thing where you get the dolphin badge, so I'm
Okay.
really early into it.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
you
god,
you
what a
basically,
game!
yeah, you just got to the pedal aisle, so you just got to the second world.
Right, right. It's oh man, it's good, dude.
I
Like
like it.
the
I like it.
controls.
Now, oh yes. Now, in terms of what I absolutely adore about it, it has the best feel of any Mario game I've played since 3, honestly.
Yep,
It's kind, to me,
yep.
it's kind of a combination between the heaviness of 3 and the precision of World. It's kind of
Right.
what they
It
went for, and they nailed it. They fucking nailed it. And I love the fucking Flower Kingdom, man. I tell everybody this: the Flower Kingdom is the first times in 2D Mario in forever since the world actually feels. First time in 2D Mario since World, and it's the first time, not counting Odyssey, since Sunshine, as much shit
sunshine.
as I give
Yeah.
that game, that actually adds to that world, the Mushroom World. And it gives you the Flower Kingdom. And the Flower Kingdom has its own wildlife and its own ecosystems and its own environments. Bowser feels like a genuine threat again. Um, You get to see the damage he's doing as his castle kind of floats throughout the Flower Kingdom. The only thing is that game's way too fucking easy, Caesar. Way
Really?
too fucking easy. Yeah, like I don't know. Rush Dog kind of joked last night on the stream when he typed in and he said, "I don't think has anybody ever seen the Mario Wonder game over screen?" And that's a good question because I sure didn't see it. I right now I'm on like World 5 and I've got over 60 lives. Like there's too many
Wow.
there's too many coins and there's not enough damage being done. So it's not where it ranks in the pantheon of Mario games. It's not better than 3. I don't think it's better even than World, but in terms of where it falls, I think it's got a good chance of being my third favorite.
I think in that case, Nintendo succeeded in giving you something that you wanted.
100%. And I've said that a million times. I've always said that if I get nothing else this generation, if you give me a quality 2D Mario, a quality classical Zelda, and a classical Metroid, I'm a happy fucking camper. Everything else after that is icing on the cake. So I kind of last night kind of went off, kind of went ham on Tears of the Kingdom and my perceived shortcomings of that game, but that's okay because I got Breath of the Wild. So even if I never take to that game like I took to Breath of the Wild, I got the game I needed. Like Breath
Right.
of the Wild will probably hold me until they do it again, which will probably be a long time, given Tears of the Kingdom and the direction they went with that.
Yeah, I still haven't started Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just kind of like I just had finished Breath of the Wild after like
Right.
marathoning a lot of it, so I'm just kind of like taking my time to get into it. But I'll get it. I'll get into it. I mean, I have it. I just need to
I mean, I
play it.
tried, but there's just too much going on, Caesar. That's the main thing. Like every time you're pulled in about 80 fucking different directions and I can't get over how they just drop an entire fucking piece of the lore, which is the Sheikah tech. It's just like, yeah, who cares? We don't know what happened to that, but nobody cares. Um,
Yeah,
there's just a lot of Ganon being back as a man is strange to me. It's very strange. Um, got a lot of
that always weirded me out too.
well, especially like when you get far, like my understanding, and again, this is headcanon because I haven't confirmed it, but we are far enough back into the future where that the only thing left of Ganon is this malice and this hatred toward all of Hyrule. Like it's just the most pure form of malice, like this bestial malice. And so going from that very interesting premise, which is basically you're fighting the vestiges of his hatred for all of Hyrule. And then all of a sudden he's back and he's walking and he's talking and he's coherent again. It's like, I don't know. I kind of like Calamity Ganon better, I'll be honest. I
I
thought
mean,
that
I
interesting premise to me.
for me, like when I first saw the announcement that it's Ganondorf now
Yeah.
again, I was like, how do you go from Calamity Ganon, this huge monstrosity cloud thing that's you? He's a huge being. It's barely even Ganondorf anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
it was. It
just
was just his hatred. It's just his hatred.
he's he's an entity at this point,
Yes.
and he's a
Yeah.
guy again.
Yeah, now he's a guy and he's got his memories back, and apparently it's the Ganon from Ocarina, maybe, but we don't fucking know. And they mentioned the imprisoning war, but again, we don't know. And
I'll get to it when I get to it.
that's a fair opinion. So I guess that kind of springs us in talking about Wonder and talking about Zelda. I guess that kind of springs us into, I guess a lot of websites are starting to get their Game of the Year festivities kicking. And games I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing Tears of the Kingdom. I'm seeing Mario Wonder. Seeing seeing things like seeing Baldur's Gate 3, which to me is gonna win. It's gonna be Baldur's Gate 3. It's not even fucking close. Not that I've played a ton of Baldur's Gate 3, not nearly as much as I want to. But
Right.
what is there is you have to go back to Baldur's Gate 3 essentially brought back the ultimate trajectory that gaming had abandoned since like the late 90s. And it's just another one of those grand returns to form that I did not expect. Came out of fucking nowhere. And
I didn't know about the game until after it came out.
yeah, no, it came out of nowhere. And that game, and if you look at the creators, Finn Vick, and you look at the things he talks about, how is it? Oh, 100%.
Oh my, the pink lemonade is the win, man.
That
This is the flavor.
sounds filthy and dangerous as hell.
Good thing I don't got to drive anywhere.
That sounds
today.
like filth, like in the best way.
The best way, bro. Check it out. I even got my Yakuza Collector's Edition from Yakuza 6 shot glass. Look at this, baby.
Yeah, now
busted those suckers out.
Now, kind of as a quick aside, since you mentioned Yakuza, which is a game that apparently can't be on Nintendo consoles because a Japanese-only Wii U game failed one time. So now we're never bringing that over because Sega's fucking weird. But I'm hearing something about like the voice actor for the new guy is not good or something like that. Or I haven't played the new games. There's some kind of controversy around the voice acting on that game.
Yeah. Okay. So from what I understand.
Hey, what's going on, Kaiser? Got Mad Kaiser.
Hey, what's up, guys? I can't tell what's going on in the chat, unfortunately, since I'm doing this off my phone. So please, like, alert me to whoever's joining and who's commenting.
100.
I want to interact with the chat, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'll read their comments as they go. I can do that for you, definitely. So Mad Kaiser says, yo, Rush Dog just popped in and he's hearing Yakuza talk. Yep. Talking a little bit about the voice acting situation on that game. Apparently, there's some people that say it's not great, but again, I am a complete Yakuza novice, so I want to get some opinions of some people that actually fucking know something about Yakuza.
Okay, so I'll help. I've played my fair share of Yakuza games. I pretty much own all of them. Okay, so he's been dubbed before, Kazuma Kiryu.
Okay.
What, from my understanding, is they have for it's called Yakuza Gaiden or Like a Dragon Gaiden.
Right.
A new voice actor for the American English dub.
Okay.
Yang Ye. I don't know if anybody's heard of him. I've never heard of him until now. But
vaguely, yeah.
Okay, so apparently there's controversy about him not being as good as the last guy they had, and there's also controversy about, there's always controversy on Twitter because everybody has to have a goddamn opinion on Twitter. And
we're going to talk about that tonight. We're for sure going to talk about that tonight because gamers TM and their gamer rage. Like, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that.
The fake outrage. Anyways,
yes.
So yeah.
Oh my God, we're right on the same page, homie.
Not as good as the last guy, but the thing about it is there's a clip of him talking mad shit about. Are we allowed to curse on this podcast?
100%. You hear me? I cause I'm a sailor, bro.
The alcohol's kicking in. So the earlier clip of him talking shit about Chris Pratt being casted as Mario and him basically just ripping him to shreds, or just talking about how he's not a good pick. And it was like one of the earliest trailers of the Mario movie. And it's corny. It's dumb. It's a stupid situation that didn't need to be blown way out of proportion. But anyways,
as usual,
the fact was, as usual. So most of these people are just basically saying, "Oh, Yang Ye, you're not that much better. You suck as Kiryu." And I'm just like, who the hell plays Yakuza in English dubs anyways? I don't. I always played it in Japanese. So
okay, so Yang Ye, it looks like Yang Ye also. So there's some JoJo lore here. So Yang Ye was the English dub for Father Pucci in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6. And I thought he did a good job there. That was a great. If you've never seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like Part 6 is fucking beastie, man.
I think I'm gonna have to was it Rad Bash that it also isn't into JoJo?
Rad Bash isn't into JoJo? Oh, we're gonna have to have a sit down about that, son.
No. Hold on. Maybe I'm getting the names wrong because of the alcohol. But somebody was on your podcast. Somebody was on your podcast recently. I think it was Brad Bash.
Oh, okay. Who said I remember that. Yeah.
Said they weren't into JoJo, and Rad Bash, you're awesome. You're a radical, dude. And I'm also not a big JoJo guy. My wife likes it.
Heartbroken.
bizarre. I get it. That's the point, but it's a little too bizarre for me.
I get it.
Sometimes.
I get it. So let me ask you a question. So quick. We'll get back to the Yakuza, but and let me read the chat real quick. Let me let the chat hijack this for a second. So Rush Dog says that you pick up Daytona USA 2, Cesar, aka like a Dragon Gaiden.
As far as I know, it doesn't have a physical release, so it doesn't exist. At least not in.
That is a great answer.
At least not in North America. So, Asian version that has English support, I'll definitely pick up Daytona 2.
So Rush, I think the answer is what is this Daytona 2? I guess yeah. There's a what's that game? I don't know of such a game.
Oh come on, Daytona 2. The Daytona game we've never gotten on a home console before.
Right.
It's basically one of those situations where video game publishers and companies have failed us. Wherein
that's constant.
It's constant. It happens all the time. You see it these days. We'll get to it, I'm sure, and it's continually happening. But Daytona 2 never got released outside of arcades. The original Daytona got a Sega Saturn version. It got a Sega Dreamcast version. It got ported to the Xbox 360 and PS3. Daytona 2 never left the arcade until recently, with Like a Dragon being announced that it's having an arcade cabinet of Daytona 2 fully playable, as far as I know, which, that excites me so much because the only way you can experience the actual Daytona 2 tracks apparently is in Outrun 2 on the Xbox. I could be wrong about that, but I heard something about those tracks being unlockable in this one. Or is it in Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast? Somebody fact check me in the comments because, I want to try Daytona 2.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you, one of my favorite spots in the whole world is a place called Galloping Ghost in Brookfield, Illinois. And this place is it's one of the world's largest arcades. They've ripped the coin op out and they've made it a push button for every system. You pay one time, you pay one time in the fucking morning. I shit you not. And then you literally can stay there all day and play all these classic arcade games. They have Silent Hill, the arcade game. They've got like Darius Gaiden, like the full fucking arcade cabinet where like 6 people can sit in and fucking fly ships. Oh, it's incredible, dude. This place is incredible. I'm gonna do a feature. I'm gonna do a video feature on it the next time I'm up there. But I always take the train up there. I go to the arcade and I go to a place called fucking Burger Antics, some of the best burgers on the planet. And I just make a whole
Burger Antics?
Burger Antics, it's called, yeah.
Why does that sound so freaking good?
It's burgers and bourbon, so you tell me. That's my spot.
Oh man, I'm freaking hungry right now. This alcohol is really kicking in.
Burgers and bourbon, yeah.
I can't have a burger though. So last night I came home from work, brought wife home from the city. She was tired. I was starving all day, so I got a Wawa pizza. You know Wawa, the gas station. So they have pizza now. They have pizza now. It's respectable. The pizza's actually pretty decent. Frozen, who cares? They pop it into the little easy bake oven these days that all these places have, and it is good. It's cheesy, it's greasy, it's fucking good. So I destroyed that pizza last night, dude. And needless to say, it returned the favor.
Oh gosh, I can imagine. Yeah, pizza will not, especially like the greasier the better. Especially after, I'll tell you what, pizza's a great food. Like when you wake up the next day, like pizza for breakfast is amazing because you get that grease, especially like a pepperoni or a sausage pizza, something with a little grease to it. Knock that hangover out. Yeah. It saved me from many a work day leftover fucking pizza. So warm that shit up. Man. It's good.
I might get another one tomorrow.
So we've got.
What were we talking about?
Oh yeah, chat's gonna keep us on track. So I played a bit of Yakuza 0, Mad Kaiser says. So I too am a bit of a Yakuza beginner and said, yeah, I know Yang Ye from YouTube. PlayStation 2 Yakuza dub had an all-star cast, Rush Dog says. Mark Hamill,
Dude.
Michael Rosenbaum, Michael Madsen. Holy shit!
What? Wasn't even
Holy.
aware that they had all those people in those games.
And he says it does have a physical, but yeah, not in North America. So
Go figure.
And you're correct about Outrun 2. It's Outrun, not Outrun 2, not Outrun 2006.
Yes, so I got the right one.
Yeah, that's good. So, but anyway, we were talking about Yakuza. We were talking about voice acting. Oh, and JoJo. Oh, there's another one. Outrun.
Well, I just showed this off. Zoo, if you like arcade games, racing games, you need to play this on the original Xbox.
Okay.
It's also playable on 360, but play it on the original Xbox if you have an original Xbox. You can get it.
My dad has one somewhere, so I have access to one. It's because he got it for Halo and Reckless the Yakuza missions.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that last time.
He loved the shit out of that, and then a game called Bloodwake he liked too. I remember him playing the shit out of Bloodwake.
Talking about that last time. So Outrun, the original through Shenmue. I think Shenmue 2 had the arcade cabinet inside of it for Outrun, the original Outrun.
Okay,
dude, Outrun 2 on the Xbox is amazing, dude. So much content in that game. It's like it was developed for. Why am I talking about Outrun? Let's get back on topic.
Well, no, it's okay. That's what we want to talk about. We're talking about Outrun right now. We'll talk about the other shit later.
Okay, so Outrun 2, fantastic game. It's challenging. It's kind of like that, beat the clock kind of challenge. So you have branching paths as you're driving on the highways and stuff like that. And you can take like a harder route or easier route, and the clock is ticking. And then there's a mode called heart attack mode where you have the girl riding shotgun with you. And if you're not doing what it likes, like drifting between certain vehicles or on a certain lane, then it's game over for you. It's awesome, bro. I picked it up for like what, 26 on eBay.
Okay.
It goes for around that price range. The updated version is called Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. One of the most expensive original Xbox games out there. I've seen it. It's going for like over 300 now.
Oh, wow.
I just thought I'd bring that up because
other games my dad, the Xbox joints my dad loved. There's one called Viet Cong Purple Haze, like a Vietnam game that he loved the shit out of too. He loved that game.
That game got ripped to shreds by reviewers, but it was a game that I always wanted to play.
My dad loved it.
Just the name of it.
Yeah, Viet Cong. Yeah, Purple. Yeah, honestly, it seems like a fucking Jimi Hendrix song. That's a Vietnam game. Like
Purple Haze. That sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I should have named my channel Purple Haze.
Purple Haze would be that'd be a good one. But okay, so yeah, my question was, I was asking you, where did you start on JoJo? Like, what part did you start on? Part 1?
I started with the PS3 game.
Oh, okay. Well, most people when they start the anime, they always start at part 1, and I'm almost, not that part 1 and part 2 don't have its great moments. I almost want to tell people to at least skip to part 3, or even better, to just go straight into part 4. Part 4 is a whole different cast, and part 4 has some of the best storytelling in any anime ever. Like, it's great. Part 4 is like genuinely like classic. It's like god tier anime.
Yeah, I'm shallow. I look at who's the hot babes in the anime, and I'm like, there's only one that I've seen, and that's Lisa and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's part 2, and yeah, everybody's built like brick shit houses in JoJo, and there's not a lot of females in the writing until way into JoJo. Like part 4, he starts to try to write women, but in general, JoJo is it's pretty sausage festy for most of its run. I'm not gonna lie.
That's probably why I'm not too into it. But I do like Jolene Cujo. I think that she's
awesome.
A fantastic design, and I do have to admit, from the game, if you haven't played the game, the one I'm talking about was a fighting game. All Star.
Real quick, Victoria says, "Put some respect on Jolene." That's Jolene Joestar.
Cujo, then.
Oh, well, Cujo is her. So that's that Cujo is Jotaro Cujo, but they're both Joestars, technically speaking. So we just want to make sure that she gets her due credit as being of the Joestar lineage. But again, this is just JoJo fandom for you know.
Okay. I thought I was talking about a completely different character
No,
for a minute.
we are a radical bunch. Yeah, Jolene is awesome. Like, I love
Yeah,
Jolene.
she's
Jolene is my
cool.
favorite protagonist, except for maybe Josuke in part 4.
Okay, because in the game, she has this move where she's just like balls deep and she's like throwing a bunch of like baseballs at somebody and
Uh
like
huh.
using like spider webs and stuff. Dude, okay, I get it. It's bizarre. It's weird. Probably not for me to sit down and watch since time is so limited. But from what I played in the game, I like Jolene. She's badass.
Yeah, it's Victoria says she's hot. Is what I'm standing. Actually, yeah, that too. Yeah,
I'll
100,
I'll say that. Oh yeah, definitely hot too.
100%.
Cheers.
She's great. Um, but yeah, so in general, voice actors, yeah, I can't get it in me to get upset about a voice actor. Like again, I have no ties to Yakuza whatsoever. But again, like this is
I
he did a good job with Poochie. I'm sure he'll do fine. I'm sure it's probably quotes that are ripped out of context, like most fucking things on the internet. But
can I just be honest here? Can I just
all
say to
fuck yeah,
people idolize voice actors and actresses like no tomorrow, and it's just kind of sickening. Let these people go,
yeah.
okay?
I
Like
hear you, man. It's parasocial bonding is what it is, and it's a
that.
problem.
I'm not a big. I don't get it. I don't
I
like
don't either.
parasocial bullshit,
I don't either.
and it's like
Scares the shit out of me.
build build them up, and as soon as they say something controversial, they tear them down.
Yeah,
Um, as you know, no matter how stupid whatever they comment about, whether it's warranted or not,
yeah.
my advice for people is that parasocial shit, don't do it. And then my advice to voice actors and actresses: stay off Twitter, whatever the hell they
Yeah,
call it these
both
days.
ways.
Just
Yeah,
stay off social
to stay
media.
out. Yeah, and I was having a conversation with a friend earlier, and we were talking about what a problem social media has become. I don't think it's good for us, Caesar.
It
Um,
No, it's not.
and I
It's
can tell,
absolutely not.
and I can tell you, this is I think my second or third, probably my third, if I'm being realistic, rodeo, being some kind of an internet figure, right? And
You're a ghost.
that's
Internet
exact
ghost.
internet ghost, and there's a reason for that. So yeah, it's a good gag, but also it's also kind of a statement that I just and I can't say this enough and chat I don't I love you guys, I do, as much as I love your support, but you got to keep in mind that when you're dealing with me you're not actually dealing with the person. You're dealing with a strange internet echo of an internet ghost. You're dealing with the facsimile of a person that I construct for you, on a regular basis. Now, that's not to say that I'm not saying I'm a fake ass fucker or anything like that, because no, I'm pretty real. But I guess it's my way of saying that you can never completely know the person that you're dealing with behind a camera or behind a microphone, because you just don't know that person. You only know the parts that person is showing you publicly. And there's always going to be some shit that's hidden. There's always going to be some shit that they choose not to show you, whether it's because there's darker secrets or whether it's even because, hey, um, a lot of folks just, especially when you get,
Keep
yeah,
keep their private life private, and that's how
exactly.
it should stay.
And that's how it should stay. So that is my advice to anybody. Like, and people, every once in a while, I'll get comments like, "Hey, Z, why don't you show your face?" It's like because
You don't have to.
I don't. I don't have to. I don't have to do shit. Not
I
number,
still want to see your face, but like I'm not
of
gonna
course,
freaking like tell you
but
um
also
like
it's the
you
fact
have
that
to show your face.
it does nobody seems to value anonymity on the goddamn internet anymore, man. To me, that's the funnest part of the fucking internet is,
Yeah.
that's and I get that the reason they're kind of getting away from anonymity is due to the fact that there's a lot of people who use that shit irresponsibly. I mean, how many anime
Yeah,
avatars do you see just saying the dumbest, most reprehensible shit? And it sucks, but
it's a cesspool.
it is a cesspool. But part of that, I really think a lot of this is driven two ways. Have you ever seen Perfect Blue? Satoshi Kon.
No, what is
You
that?
you should watch Perfect Blue by Satoshi Kon. It's an anime, and it's about this young woman who's an idol in Japan. And it's basically the story of what happens when the character you create becomes more powerful than the actual person becomes. And that identity
Interesting.
begins to swallow them whole. And I reference that
Okay.
because I see this happen. I think this ultimately happens to anybody who starts into a parasocial relationship. And it's what I run from. It's why I'm anonymous. It's why I really don't want to get fucking super famous on the YouTube internet famous. It's a curse, man.
It is. It's a double-edged sword. And you mentioned Perfect Blue. That's what it's called, right? Perfect Blue.
Perfect Blue by Satoshi Kon. Actually, just anything by Satoshi Kon, whether it's Paprika or Paranoia Agent, you should watch everything by Satoshi Kon. That guy was a fucking
Have
visionary.
Have you seen Belle?
No.
Okay, well, Belle is my wife just introduced me to it last year or something, but like, um, it's kind of like that where the main character has this online anonymity in this cyber world,
Hmm.
and she's standard plain Jane girl. Nobody cares about her or cares that she even exists in the real world. In the cyber world, though, she becomes a famous pop star,
Okay.
and she connects with a character who's also on this side. I don't want to spoil it, but
Okay.
definitely check it out because
Bell. Okay.
it's got a lot to do with that stuff. That
Interesting.
cyber.
And I can tell you it goes both ways too. I don't think a lot of people would be shocked to know there's a lot of famous motherfuckers who dive into the internet world and the anonymity of the internet to kind of get a taste of what they've lost. That happens a lot. I promise you. A lot of folks that
Pretty
you might it might be a singular name that you recognize. Just oh yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, they might be interacting with you anonymously on the internet just to try to get back that anonymity that they've lost through their fame.
it,
It's
it ain't the voice actors and actresses. They
oh
need to
no,
stay
that
off.
ain't no shit. But but I can tell you that I don't think that I don't think that our consciousness is built for this much interaction on this scale. I think social media is very new, and I don't necessarily know that our brains have the architecture to withstand it.
Well, let's reference the Schrodinger's number. What's the guy's name again? Um,
Schrodinger's cat. Oh, Dunbar's number.
Dunbar's number.
Dunbar's number. Yeah, Dunbar's number is real shit, and I call yeah, and that's part of a 1-2 punch that I've never seen anybody be able to. And even when I talk about it on the forum, you'll notice people just step around it, Caesar. And I've never seen anybody successfully deal with the combination of Dunbar's number and Ashby's law of requisite variety. And what are those two things? So for the chat, everybody take a shot for one. So
I'm
yeah,
doing it. I'm
let's
doing
do it
it
now.
like I really need any more.
Yeah, fuck. I hear you. I'm gonna do it too. This shit'll put hair
I
on
was
your knuckles.
waiting for this moment,
Yeah,
dude. Like you have no idea.
this shit'll put hair on your knuckles. I'm drinking. This is 100 proof,
Bring
4 roses,
on
single barrel. Let's do it.
Schrodinger. I mean, what's his name again? Dunbar.
Ah,
Dunbar.
Dunbar. Yeah. Ooh,
God, this shit is so good. I
this
got a new favorite now.
this is a good bourbon
This
too.
whatever margarita thing is. What would you classify this again?
That's a mixed drink. It's a margarita style mixed drink. So
It's so
tequila.
good.
It's gonna have tequila in it.
It's
Um,
so good.
Tequila,
You gotta
lime
have it.
juice, and salt on the rim typically. But that's a mixed drink, so it probably has the salt a little bit mixed in.
They had a watermelon flavor out. It came this close to picking it up. But anyways, let's get back to Dunbar's number.
Well, before we get to that, before I get on my old man rant, let me get caught up on the chat. I'm going to let the chat hijack us again. So stay off Twitter is good advice for anybody. 100%.
Or take a freaking break from it at
Yes.
least.
Mad Kaiser says, true that. Rush Dog, I still value anonymity. Never let it go, buddy. And he says, we're old men, though, Zoo. Remnants of the early internet age. Yeah. Yeah, like fuck.
True.
We remember, like, if you remember fucking Game Facts and like the image boards, you're as old school
hell
as it
yeah.
gets on the internet. Yeah, we're all old men as far as that goes. But okay, so
Sadly.
so Dunbar's number. So recap for the chat that doesn't already know. Yeah, like you don't all already fucking know this.
Even though you should at this
Yes.
point, because I fucking know it.
Dunbar's number. Robin Dunbar, the famous anthropologist, posited that there is a cognitive limitation to the number of social relationships we can keep track of. So that's number one. Okay. Now they argue over that. Some people will say it's as low as 50. Some people will say it's as high as 1,000. Dunbar had it at 150. Second thing, Ashby's law of requisite variety. In order to maintain homeostasis and be a recursive system, the variables that the system controls for, the controlling mechanisms for a given system, must be more variable than the systems they are attempting to control for. So what that means is, you've got your human hands, right? As complex and as beautiful and as an amazing an amalgamation as hands are, hands cannot control the human body. Only the brain can do that because the brain is the most complex. So if you pair Ashby's law of requisite variety, if you pair that, in other words, the fact that which is a debunk of bureaucracy, essentially, and you pair that with the cognitive limitation we have to keep track of relationships, what you are left with is the fact that this literally disproves civilization. It's an anti-civilization equation. Every system we've ever produced relies on a bureaucracy that is smaller than the variables it's trying to control for. And in turn, every one of those controlling mechanisms will have a cognitive limitation less than the amount of people they're trying to control. This inevitably leads to collapse, degradation, everything. So, and you can scale that across time. You can scale that from video game companies to paper routes to fucking countries to fucking entire ecosystems. Dunbar's number plus Ashby's law equals it's basically the anti-civilization equation. I've never heard a proper debunk of it. So, but the reason I mention that is that Twitter throws yet another massive variable onto that, especially gaming Twitter. So like every day there's like, we talk about this, like every day you get on and yeah, there's the gaming news and there's interacting with the people that we love in terms of like the different characters that we all love. But then there's also the outrage of the day. Always.
Oh, the outrage of the day. There's a new one every freaking day. Flavor of the year.
Yeah.
Flavor of the day.
And Keith SLG says, I only use Twitter for game sales. That gives me in enough trouble. Yeah. And I'm a game sales wonk too, man. And yeah, it's amazing how even that kind of talk will get you in trouble. Like I remember how much shit I used to get into when I said there ain't no fucking Switch 2 coming. And now Furukawa has even said, Furukawa's like, hey, Switch ain't going nowhere. They literally put it on a fucking slide in the newest financials, and nothing. Does anybody, like to quote Roman Reigns? Does anybody acknowledge me? No, they don't. they don't. They pretend like I never said shit. We the ones.
We the ones. The bloodline of Manganzu is here, baby.
Well, I gotta tell you though, man. I watched Super Eye Patch Wolf's Unreality of Pro Wrestling, that Roman Reigns thing, and I gotta tell you, I didn't know the whole fucking story behind it. They fucking hated that guy, man.
Dude,
I
was watching wrestling for the longest since like 2001 religiously.
Okay. All right.
And I remember.
Is that like the Alliance versus WWF days?
That was right before the Alliance.
Right before the Alliance. I remember the Alliance.
So I wasn't into WCW So, as far as I knew, was WCW. I had no idea that it was missing Goldberg, Sting, the NWO, all the top guys that would have made WCW an actual threat. Instead, they had what? Mike Awesome.
Yeah, I remember there's like Chris Canyon, Mike Awesome.
The only big guys they had, like star-wise, was DDP, and they turned them into a freaking stalker.
Yeah, he turned me like
So
a
anyway,
weirdo. Yeah,
Roman Reigns started out, and he was a part of the Shield, which was
popular.
it was a heel faction that started off well. It got a lot of heat, and then
But
eventually the guys
fans
kind
loved
of
him.
the fans turned them face, and they became loved. It's when WWE and top brass Vince McMahon started shoving Roman Reigns down people's throats as the next guy, where people were not having it because the guy couldn't cut a promo to save his fucking life.
Suffering
Look up.
succotash.
Oh yes, I was about to say the suffering succotash.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god,
Super Eye
look
Patch.
it
We'll
up.
put it in this video. It's which maybe we'll watch that on stream so people know what we're talking about because I'm starting to experiment with getting a video up real quick.
Hey, do it.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
cringe.
We're gonna show everybody how bad this promo is real quick.
It's so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. Oh man, see if you could get that going because
yeah, there I got it. Okay, I got it. Here's 15 seconds. That's the one we want. We ain't got all fucking
that's
night.
the one.
Okay, so
That's all you need.
okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and share this.
For non-wrestling fans, please bear with us.
Make sure it's on there. Okay, now listen to this. Listen to this fucking promo, guys.
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
oh, that's so bad. Oh, they cut that and they cut that out, man. But yeah, it's the wink at the end. Roman, what are you doing, buddy? Like, what are you doing?
And
It's
it was
so bad.
apparent when he was first feuding with John Cena, and John Cena completely destroyed him on the mic and told him it's a promo. You have to learn how to do it.
Oh no, my favorite moment
Be the
was you
next
should.
top
What did he
guy.
say? He said you should be embarrassed that I can do this part time better than
Part-time,
you'll ever do it full time.
full time.
Oh,
That was, man, that was so good. And like
I felt so bad for the guy in that watch. And again, I didn't even experience any of this firsthand, but watching that documentary that Eye Patch will put out, oh, that was painful.
it was, but
I'll
look
tell you,
where he's now.
he came into his own. They finally
He did, and
I always like watching that. I'm like, why don't they turn this guy heel? And then sure enough, like perfect. And what's brilliant about it is they used the fans' rejection of him to turn him heel. And that's the
exactly
incredible part. So now he rejects the fans just like the fans once rejected him.
right.
And
Art
now they
imitates
fucking
life.
love him for it. It's amazing. But the
Oh yeah,
reason
he's over.
1,000% now.
He's way
Like
over
he's
as a
breathing
heel.
like the same fucking rarefied air as like a fucking Hulk Hogan now, man. Like damn near. Like he's getting close. Like as far as the title run. You think they're gonna take the belt off him at WrestleMania?
I think so.
Who do you think they're gonna give it to? Is it gonna be The Rock or is it gonna be Cody Rhodes?
I hope it's Cody.
Cody would be worthy, I think.
So like at my age, I should have known better that WWE was going to send me home happy for once. I watched WrestleMania last year, and I was so fucking disappointed at that outcome, dude. Like, I was hyped for most of the event. Was the buzzkill, and I was like, I think I was more disappointed in myself for actually getting high hopes that they were going to actually do it. But if they don't do it now, I don't know when they're going to do it.
Well, and what's interesting that'll cut it just short of Hogan's record. Like that's the thing. That's why I think it feels kind of right in terms of the right move. because I don't think
Right.
I don't think they're ever going to take it from Hogan as far as that top spot. Like that guy just had such a legendary position in the company. Even though I hear he's like kind of a jerk, but like he,
I mean, Hogan is Hogan. You know what I mean? I met the guy. Fuck, I even have one of his figures signed.
how was it? How was he?
Oh, it was so short. I didn't get a chance to even really interact with him. I shook his big ass hand, you know, but
I
it
heard
was
he's
awesome.
real big in real life. Yeah, I heard he's like huge.
Oh yeah, I mean, all those guys from like the '90s and the '80s,
Big
like
guys.
those men in that industry back then
Yeah.
were fucking monsters compared to the men that they have these days.
Well, that's what they
Like
said.
you
Like,
look at
they
somebody,
said Stone Cold Steve Austin, also kind of a big dude. You wouldn't imagine, but yeah, it's a big dude. These.
is like 6'2". He's fucking big, dude. If you put him next to like an MJF, who's like the top guy in AEW right now, like, oh come on, it's a different time. Most wrestling fans
MJF
now
is
are
another
gremlins,
beastie heel. MJF might be the best heel I've ever seen.
and he's a babyface now.
Again, like literally, it's amazing how, and it just goes to show you. And you know, a long time ago, I wrote a thing about video games, and I was specifically talking about Mario, Metroid, and Zelda. And it was the appeal of evil in video games,
Right.
because without a good villain, you can't have a great hero.
Right.
You know? And so, even though you love to hate the villain, there's a part of you that loves the villain as well in a way, because you couldn't have this fucking story you're experiencing without the villain.
Without a good
In
villain.
fact,
Yeah.
a good villain will kickstart the event.
Mhm.
Literally, he'll be the impetus for the hero to act.
And usually, in the case of wrestling, it's the heel that calls the match.
Mhm. Yeah,
9 times out of 10. So
so you got a buddy there. Is that Spyro?
yeah, my wife got me this for my birthday, early birthday gift. It's one of those cable guy Spyro statues that holds your controller.
Oh, not
It's awesome, dude. It came busted, so his horn fell out and his arm fell out. Thank you, Amazon, you bastards, for shipping it so shoddily. But a little crazy glue doesn't hurt, so he's back. He's back. Yeah, and I love fucking Spyro the Dragon, so I figured why not have him. I had Sly last time, I think, so let's have Spyro.
Did Mandy
I
ever
got
tell you
Sly.
her story about how they literally like shipped a fucking game, literally like just loose in like a bubble wrap?
It wouldn't surprise me because they've done it to me.
Wow.
They shipped me a Switch game in a big box, and I could feel the Switch game just banging around in there. There was no bubble wrap whatsoever. It's like, gee, thanks, guys. Thank God it's just a Switch game and not like an expensive 6th generation game, you know, where it's actually all on the disc.
Ugh.
None
Get
of
with
my
chat
business,
real
though.
quick. So Rush Dog said, "How many uncontrolled variables on social media? Infinite, infinite."
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think it's good for us. So,
Let me ask you a question,
that doesn't
Mr.
mean I'm not
New.
compelled to use it, by the way. But it, like all the rest of us, it's like a Chatulian
Fuck.
monster. We can't look away from it. But yeah, you had a question for me.
I use it mainly for like self promotion and then just to keep tab on you guys because how else am I going to keep tabs on you all, right? So
Yeah, it's the only way.
done. And besides Discord, of course,
Yeah.
Discord is. Oh man, Discord is overwhelming sometimes because there's just so many different like groups that I'm in now, and it's just like my mental capacity to just hell. Like Jay sent me a message on Discord this morning,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to it till like 5 in the afternoon, and I'm just like, dude, I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and I'm sure he understands. But yeah, in
Yeah,
general,
we talked. But so the question was, in terms of Dunbar's number,
mhm.
where do you see your limit?
I'm already past. Well, if we use the classical,
Past-
which I've always done in the past, where I passed it some 52 numbers ago. I'm at like two. I think last I checked, I'm at like 210, 200, something like that. I don't keep track now. On YouTube, I'm not past it yet. I think I'm at 90. Again, I'd have to check that. Actually, let me give it. Might as well just give you a fucking update real quick.
Subscribers?
I think so. I guess
You
I don't check this, but off.
you
90,
deserve way more, dude.
92. Well, I've only been doing it for less than a year. I mean,
True.
so
But still,
but
in my honest opinion,
well, I
you deserve
appreciate that.
9,000. So.
But well, 9,000 is way above Dunbar's number.
That's pushing it, right?
Yeah, 150 is kind of the sweet spot according to Robin Dunbar, who did the long haul research on it. Now, again, that doesn't mean he's right. Again, it's a fiercely contested number, but I just from my own cognitive limitations, like how many of us really have in-depth relationships with more than 150 fucking people? Like,
dude, you're pushing it, man. I'm not even. I can't do more than 50,
that's what I'm
including my
saying.
family
Yeah,
members.
that's what I'm saying.
I
So,
can't.
it's
And
hard.
like,
It's literally there's a cognitive limitation, and what Dunbar suggested is that we evolved for that specifically because human beings work very well in small, close, tight-knit bands. That's how we work best. So not
and
necessarily.
everybody got on my case for being an introvert.
Yeah, no, and not necessarily even family units, but just banded units. So basically, you have your few people that you trust really well, and then there's all
Yep.
these other people. It doesn't mean you can't work with them. Doesn't mean you can't trade with them. But those aren't your folks. Your folks are that
Right,
tight
right.
knit band that you've gotten to know over a long period of time. Now, it just so happens in the modern age to take that family unit, that familial unit, more often than not, whether it's an extended family or whether it's just a nuclear family. But there's a great anthropologist named David Graeber you should check out, and he'll suggest to you that it wasn't always like that. Essentially, like the idea that it's like family based units. A lot of times there were societal based units that literally existed. Like some of your ancient tribes, for example, would literally like kids were seen as the responsibility of that entire community, not just that familial unit. And there's some really interesting research to be done there. There was in particular, this changes everything. A New History of the World. Great fucking book, man. And it kind of talks a little bit about this. But yeah, I mean, what can you learn when you apply that to like Twitter or when you apply that to YouTube is kind of the same lessons. It's kind of the same. Um, yeah. So Victoria says exactly. You want the web of the family to embrace more than just the same people. You want overlapping rings of connection. Like in other words, like a recursive or a cybernetic system. Exactly. Yeah, people you care about caring about people you don't know, or people you care about caring about people you don't know or care about. And you caring about them helps the person that you don't even know. That's how you build a recursive system. That's how you build that recursive network of people. And I'll tell you, one of the Jay from Cold Nights, one of the better people in regards of doing that, in terms of just bringing a lot of people together. Um, and that's what I often
Oh,
tell
he
you.
brought us together.
Exactly. Like you and I got together based on Jay. But it's just yeah, just
Right.
and again, I want to do that same thing for other people. Like I want to bring other people together, like people in this chat. Get to know not only Cesar, but get to know the people in this chat because anybody in this chat, they're awesome people. And you may be like, well, I don't fucking know these people, but you don't know me either. We're just gradually getting to know each other. But what you do know is we all come together around a passion about video games, TV shows, you've heard us talk wrestling, you've heard us talk some philosophy, and you'll find out that the people you talk to are far more interesting than you could ever imagine them being. Everybody's read different books. Everybody's had different life experiences. Everybody has a different color Power Ranger helmet. And it's all super important to get to know. And it's all super important to understand and appreciate the diversity in terms of thought that is in not only the gamer space but in all of humanity, man. This is getting fucking deep for a fucking drunk talk, but we do that
Yeah,
sometimes.
you're making me. I'm touched.
Yeah,
And you're
it's
right, though. You're absolutely correct in all of that.
yeah,
And can I just
shout
say,
out to Victoria for those thoughts. That is some beautiful shit, man.
right on, Victoria. Right
Beautiful
on.
shit.
And Zoo, fun fact, I've learned so much just by watching your podcast.
No shit.
in terms of macroeconomics.
It's got time.
Oh yeah, I gotta pour me another one because I'm fucking done.
I'll wait.
All right, let's get some of that green apple before I drink all of that pink lemonade.
Okay,
Holy crap!
All right,
green apple is good, but like my wife probably figured it's a little sour. It's got a little twang to it.
Bill, raise your glass real quick. Let me toast you. There we go.
Oh yeah, gladly. I don't want to knock over my tripod of game.
Oh, that's beautiful. I saw that fucking tripod picture. That was magical, man. The tripod of Xbox games.
It's Xbox, Wii, PS4. Now
oh God! So Rush Dog says, I think he says, I think I've got a full Mungunzo bingo tonight. Macroeconomics, Dunbar, Ashby, and Graber. Oh shit, yeah.
We got bingos going on now.
Fun fact, a little bit of zoo lore. A little bit of zoo lore for the chat. My first mention of Graber actually came from my first review ever on my channel, and that was the Fata Morgana review. That was my first reference of the late great David Graber, a man I greatly admire. But
and that's a game I still need to play someday.
Fata Morgana, yeah, I hesitate to call it a game. It is a visual novel in the purest sense of the word. That's the thing.
That's what I hear. I heard it's like legendary in terms of like good.
The storytelling, yeah. And you gotta give it some time to burn though, because you're gonna be introduced to a bunch of people that just seem foul to you that you don't even want to get to know. It's like, who are these fucking assholes? It's kind of
sounds like Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, and maybe I can learn a lesson here. So maybe I should give those people some term to grow. But I don't know. The guy spit on me, man. Like, that's not cool. But or like the Game of Thrones problem, I would say. After Ned Stark died, you're just stuck with these douchebags. And it's like I don't like any of these fuckers. Like, all these fuckers are assholes. Which I guess was the point with Ned Stark being killed off. I know that's a spoiler, but fuck. Like, you haven't watched season 1 of Game of Thrones yet. Like, fuck.
I've never watched Game of Thrones, and I don't have any.
You're not missing shit, dude. Especially with
I've
that
seen
ending.
Clips. I've spoiled the ending. I've seen the important parts happen. I'm not interested, honestly. If I wanted a story, a soap opera, like I'll just play Skyrim. Better use of my time. No offense to Game of Thrones fans, but from what I hear, the ending was shite.
So let's talk about those snubbings. Rush Dog says, on the Game Awards stuff, yeah. FF16 was largely snubbed at the Game Awards. That speaks volumes of the game's impact and legacy. It's been largely forgotten already. Yep. That's part of what I always say, Rush, is how can one tell the quality of a video game? Now you'll say, Zoo, quality of a video game is objective, and that's true. But there are certain ways, especially with long-running series, that you can tell this. First way you can do this is series sales across times, right? Another way you can do this is how long has the game been in the consciousness of peeps. So that game literally came like a fucking fart in the wind. Like, it's gone. Like, nobody's talking about Final Fantasy 16 anymore. Tell you another game that's largely like fucking petered out, and that was Starfield.
Say Starflop apparently is
Starflop.
trending on Twitter. Starflop. So,
dude, I think Bethesda's done so, buddy. I don't think they have it anymore.
Listen, for me, their best game, and you may disagree here, is Skyrim.
Skyrim's very good. Skyrim's very good.
It's a game that I can go back to. Hell, I was about to play it before this podcast, but I got sucked into Bloodborne again.
No, I genuinely liked Skyrim. Again, like so Morrowind, it's even better with mods. Now, I would argue that Morrowind unmodded is probably my favorite of the two, but Skyrim modded, like with Legacy of the Dragonborn, or like with there's some amazing mods for Skyrim, dude.
You're talking about mods for Skyrim? You just opened up a can of worms, bro, because I'm gonna hit you with some. You ever play? Okay, so for for not the longest time. Sorry, Zoo.
You know me, I'm an open
Alcohol.
book, man. Let's make some history here tonight.
Xbox One, I had Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
With the
That version actually allows mods.
Uh-huh.
It
But
allows
only a
one,
5 gigabyte limit.
right. So it only allows certain mods. There's one mod in that version besides the hot female character body type that I downloaded.
That's the only mods on Skyrim anymore. It's just nothing but booby mods now.
Yeah, well, so anyways, I mean, I liked everybody in the game to look a little prettier, but the Forgotten City.
Dude, the Forgotten
Have
City.
you played-
Yeah, yes. So I played it on
Did you
PC.
play that?
On PC, yes.
Okay.
And I played both the mod and I got to play the game that came from the mod. And
You played this game then?
Yes. You ready?
Dude, everybody needs to play play the mod first and then play the actual game that spawned from it. Because what a story.
The many shall pay for the sins of the few.
Of the one. Oh
the
my
one,
gosh.
yes. Many shall pay for the sins of the one. Very thought-provoking game.
That one of those instances where I was like, this is a freaking mod. And look, I was a console gamer through and through. That was one of the only times where I felt I should have transitioned and played some PC games and mods, because holy hell, the fact that was possible from how many people made it? It was only like one guy, wasn't it? Like a few.
No, there was a
Was
team.
it a dude?
That was
A
there was
team.
one guy who had but it was a team specifically that set out to make that using Morrowind's engine. Yeah, it was a team. It was a very talented team of people.
Oh my god! And you know what? To this day, I remember that more than Skyrim's story itself. I never finished Skyrim to begin with.
I mean, you want to. Well, it does. And again, if you like the Forgotten City, I encourage you to play Morrowind, because we're talking about some of the same deep philosophical questions. Do you mind if I spoil a bit of Morrowind?
Oh, go on, dude. Okay. I don't know when I'm going to get to this fucking game. I have. Oh, you got to see my new recent game pickups video. I'm combining October and November's month, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be a monster haul then.
This is my last hurrah as I slow down game collecting. Anyways, go on.
So, yeah. So I want you to picture. So it takes place in Morrowind. And what's going on at the heart of Morrowind is there's a blight that's coming from the center volcano. So there's this devil of the Tribunal Temple, which is kind of the let's say the Catholic Church of Morrowind. It's kind of a church that controls a lot of the society. It controls a lot of the laws and basically has a very firm grip on the people. And they're trying to battle Dagoth, which is this devil at the center of a volcano that is spreading the blight throughout Morrowind and eventually across all of Tamriel. Now, who is Dagoth? So you have to go back thousands of years. I'm not kidding how deep the story goes. There's a guy named Endoriel Nerevar who united all of the Dunmer together against the threat of the Dwemer, who had created this god that was going to allow them to basically usurp the land. And at the end of this battle, they did that, and they figured out what was powering this god that the Dwemer were making, and it was the heart of a dead god. It was the heart of Lorkhan. Nerevar told his 3 advisors, Almalexia, Sathasil, and Vivek, we need to talk about this because I'm very worried about the power of this heart and what this could mean for everybody. So he left Dagoth to guard the heart while they went back and talked. From there, the story gets very hazy because on one side of things is the claim that the 3 tribunal, Almalexia, Sathasil, and Vivek, killed Nerevar in secret at that council, and then went back, drove Dagoth away from the heart, and used that heart to become gods. The other end of that story is that they went back to the heart, including Nerevar, all 4. Dagoth was deranged and refused to give the tools back that he was guarding, saying, "You told me to guard them." They drove Dagoth off. Nerevar died in the fight with Dagoth, and then the tribunal betrayed their promise to Nerevar, used the heart, became gods. In doing so, Azura, the Daedra, showed up and cursed the Dunmer with dark skin. That's how they became dark elves, for betraying Nerevar. And so the Tribunal, that's why they still have the yellow skin like the Altmer, but the Dunmer have the dark skin of the dark elves, and they became the Dunmer at that time. Fast forward thousands of years. You are a rando fucking prisoner who's been dumped off of a boat.
Lizard man.
Yep. Or a lizard. Yeah. Or a lizard. Or, there's some
Argonian.
Argonian, which, by the way,
Oh,
given the story I'm about to tell you, that makes this even funnier, and it's something you can do.
I'm always Argonian.
You find out that what you actually are is the reincarnation, potentially, of Endoriel Nerevar, and you're the only one that can set this right. So thousands of years later, I want you to imagine this kind of a moment with thousands of years of history before you. And imagine a moment where you go and you stand before your old friend Dagoth again, and he asks you, are you actually Nerevar reborn? Now, it depends on you, because there's all kinds of, you can either say, no, I'm a pawn of Azura. You can say,
Right.
no, I'm a pawn of the Emperor, to which he'll remark, oh, that's bitter. That's very bitter. You can say, yes, I am Nerevar reborn. It's really up to the player. And at the same time, and that's the thing, like, we all have our different theories about what happened at that Battle of Red Mountain. Personally, I think the Tribunal killed Nerevar. I think they murked that guy. And I think they made themselves gods. And here's the problem. The problem with all this setup is, fast forward to this event. Dagoth comes back. He wasn't killed. He was just wounded, and was able to somehow personally establish a connection with that heart. And so now he continues to grow in power, while the Tribunal have been cut off from the heart for literally 1,000 years now. They've not been able to go and restore their power. And so as they get weaker, Dagoth grows stronger and more mad. And we're now at the point when you arrive on that island to where things are about at a tipping point. He's about to finish Akulakan, which is his weapon, and he's basically about to march on all of Tamriel, and there's nothing that can stop this guy. Like, the whole world is doomed unless this guy is stopped. And they did it to themselves, I think. It's a horrible tragedy. But I think Dagoth was a genuine friend to Nerevar. I think he tried to guard the tools. I think when they came back to seize the tools, I think he fought them. I think he lost. And then I think he went mad and eventually became more powerful than them. And it's tragic. It's epic. It's fucking beautiful.
It's romantic.
In many ways, yeah. And that's the thing. There is also those that will argue that Nerevar and Dagoth were more than good friends and good war buddies. Like, that's also part of the, and I think actually Michael Kirkbride might have confirmed that. You never know. But there's, so a bit of romance there as well. Certainly with Almalexia, who was Nerevar's wife, by the way.
Who's to say?
Yeah, so, and she was one of the people that fucking murked him, in my opinion. But anyway, that's just a look at the complexity of the story of Morrowind.
Listen, you might have spoiled all of Morrowind for me.
No, I didn't even spoil a sixth of it. There's so much more.
It's all good. I'm not gonna remember it tomorrow anyways. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you bet.
Wow.
And again,
I did not expect Morrowind to be that deep.
It's super deep. And that doesn't even get into the politics of the different great houses and the different guilds feuding with each other. And there's all these much smaller stories that ground it in a more realistic feel. Like, it's play Morrowind. Play that game.
Let me ask you this, Mungunzu. You've played, obviously you're a big Morrowind fan.
Yeah, I gotta kick myself off it for next few weeks. I gotta get one more review out at least this year.
Have you played through Oblivion?
Yeah, it's okay.
And did the horse armor ruin that game for you?
Horse armor, I was not a fan of the horse armor. I said when the horse armor came out, I'm like, I was like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing, like that, like, yes, that, not good. Yep. That's what I did, because I'm like, there. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that we're not going to have finished games anymore. And boy, did I call that shit. So,
Well, I always say the sixth generation was the best, but nobody listens to me.
sixth
They all
generation,
say
and I'm old, so
three six.
what's the sixth generation?
All right. Dreamcast, PS2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast, PS2, Xbox, GameCube,
Okay.
and Zoo. You need to
Oh,
play
I know.
the sixth generation, my brother.
Okay.
You missed out,
All right.
and I understand why you did. But at the very least, take two of those consoles
Okay.
and experience them
Okay.
somehow,
You know
some way.
what? You know what, Caesar? For you, I will do that. My dad's got an Xbox somewhere, and my sister has a GameCube somewhere.
There you go.
So I've got access to them. And here's the thing: like, taste change, and I've got to come to terms with the fact that, and a Rush Dog who's followed me for a while can attest to this. A lot of my anger and my rage and my bitterness at the GameCube in particular, but in a lot of console gaming at that time, wasn't necessarily because the games were bad. I'm starting to change my opinion on that. I think it had more to do with the games I was being deprived of and my anger at that.
Right.
I think it was the
You
fact.
wanted
Yes,
2D Mario.
yeah, and I never got it, and it pissed me off. But that doesn't mean so. I think there's something to be said. And Jay's been working on this. Rush Dog has literally been working on this since like 2012 with me. Jay's been working on it. You've been working on it. Is the idea, and again, it's okay to be wrong, and that includes me too. Have I written off an entire console generation because of bitterness and anger? It's certainly possible. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that,
Nobody.
especially because my dad had fun with it. And to be fair, I had fun with Halo when I would go to friends' houses and play it.
See,
To be fair,
that's
I
good.
love the shit out of playing Halo. So
Listen, I get why you missed out
yeah,
and why you skipped generations. I
fucking Nintendo.
I was with every generation as they came out,
Right.
but I understand. I missed out on a lot of Sega. I missed out on the Genesis, I missed out on the Saturn, and I missed out on the Dreamcast. So I'm not completely innocent. Made up for that mistake by what did I do last year? I bought a Dreamcast. I bought a Saturn. I bought two Saturns. I bought a Genesis.
And I'm willing to bet you found great games on all of those. In fact, I fucking know you did on the Genesis. I know you did.
The Genesis, oh, you know what? To be honest with you here,
Marvelous.
my least favorite of the three.
Oh no shit. What were the other ones?
No shit.
And what
The
were the
Saturn
other?
and the Dreamcast.
Saturn and the Dreamcast? You like the Genesis less than the Saturn and the Dreamcast?
Listen, the Dreamcast is fucking phenomenal, dude. The
Really?
Dreamcast has jumped up to my top
Really?
5 favorite consoles of all time. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm serious.
okay.
Now, let's we have to put a disclaimer here. Some Dreamcast games ended up getting ported to GameCube, to even Xbox 360 and stuff like that.
To be
But
fair though,
no,
I'm always a big proponent of it's always best if you can to experience it on the actual hardware.
badass take. 100%. Can I just tell you the game I fell in love with the most on the Dreamcast, and that was Shenmue.
100%. Shenmue.
Shenmue took me by surprise. This is a game series I heard about in high school. My friend Danny Chen always told me about Shenmue, told me I should play it,
Okay.
but I didn't have a Dreamcast. At the time, Shenmue 2 was already out on the original Xbox. This was when the original Xbox came out. So I picked it up, I played a little bit of it, and I did not understand what was going on, obviously, because it was part 2. I missed out on the first one. I always told myself the first game I'm going to buy on the Dreamcast is going to be Soul Calibur and then Shenmue.
Okay.
Bought them both. Played Dude, Shenmue has risen to one of my top favorite games of all time.
That's the karate game, right?
That's the karate game.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it like a Virtua Fighter tie-in essentially?
It is like a virtual
One of the
fighter
characters, yeah.
RPG.
Oh my god, that
Originally
sounds
what it was
lit.
supposed to be.
That sounds fucking lit.
That's originally what it was supposed to be. A virtual fighter, like, action-adventure role-playing game.
Okay.
And it ended up becoming Shenmue. Shenmue is a legendary game for a reason. And it's sad. It's absolutely sad that Yu Suzuki, the father of Shenmue, may never get to finish his story.
Well, I know
You're-
Shenmue 3 got crowdsourced, right?
Shenmue 3 got crowdsourced and was published by Sony.
Okay.
The problem with that is it came out at around, you got to understand something. You play Shenmue 1, you play Shenmue 2, they play pretty much the exact same. You play Shenmue 3, it plays like Shenmue 1 and 2.
Okay.
And so many games and gaming in general has advanced so far since that time gap. It was a huge time gap, by the way, that a lot of critics and people ripped on Shenmue 3 for a lot of things it was praised for back in the days. It was a groundbreaking game back when it first came out.
Okay.
Shenmue 3, not as groundbreaking anymore because a lot of those advancements in gaming, other developers implemented into their games. So what I'm trying to get at is Shenmue 3 didn't perform as well as it, Shenmue was never a big seller in the first place. It was actually the most expensive Dreamcast game ever made. And it never lived up to the sales expectations. And unfortunately, because of that, I don't think we're ever going to see Shenmue 4 or Shenmue 5 because Yu Suzuki had a game plan. And my wife is probably like, oh God, he's talking about Shenmue again. I have a Shenmue special that I'm planning for my 1,000 subscriber special. It's gonna have a
I can't
giveaway,
wait
so
for that.
be on the lookout for that.
By the way, you're getting close, man.
I'm 888.
Oh, you're doing great,
subscribers.
homie. That's awesome.
But thanks to all of you who have subscribed, shared my content, and liked. And dude, you have no idea. It's great because I started off from scratch again when I started the Cesar Arcade. I wanted to see if I could do it again, if I could hit that 1,000 subscriber goal, if I can. And it's you always talk about it in your podcast. It's the whole red ocean. Nobody is going to be talking about something video game wise that somebody else isn't already talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
like
blood in the water from all the infighting.
it's oversaturated to the point where it's just like, dude, for me to even get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm freaking lucky because so many people are talking about video games on YouTube, and everybody, it's red ocean, the red ocean.
Exactly.
And so, anyways, yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to making that video when the time comes. But Shenmue, like I said, if we get a Shenmue 4, we're lucky because it's a story that Yu Suzuki has planned, and he wanted to tell it. I think he wanted to make 7 games of Shenmue to tell that story. Shenmue 2 ended off on a cliffhanger.
And
that
like Crisis did.
Crisis ended on a cliffhanger.
Crisis 1 ended on a ridiculous cliffhanger. Like literally, like you basically drop one alien ship, then you're on the ship, and it's like, oh, we got to take the fight right to them, and it ends. It's like, oh, you got to be fucking kidding me. But I still got Crisis 2 and 3 to play.
Halo 2 did the same thing.
Oh.
But you also got to understand the gap between Crisis and Crisis 2, Halo 2 and Halo 3, and Shenmue 2 to Shenmue 3, a game we never thought we would get.
Yeah. Oh,
game we never thought we would. Where is it? I have it over here. I have multiple versions of it now because I'll show it in my Shenmue special.
right.
Somehow, some way, this game managed to happen, and it's a blessing. Unfortunately, we may never see the end of this story, and I think that's really sad. In terms of like an artist and a storyteller not being able to finish their vision or their story, it's heartbreaking because you want to see the end. It's like that Cody Rhodes meme. I need to finish the story.
Yeah.
And it's sad because we may never see the end of that story because Sega pulled out of Shenmue. Sega wants nothing to do with Shenmue, as far as I know. Shenmue 3 published by was published by Sony. What made Shenmue 1 and 2 special, in my opinion, and I don't know how this ended up becoming a Shenmue discussion. It
It's
just
okay.
did. But
You never know
Liquored
where
Up
a
Live,
Liquored Up
baby.
Live is going to go. That's what's great.
Yeah, hell yeah. Just shot to
Yep.
that. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
So, yeah, we were talking about the Dreamcast and how it became one of my favorite consoles.
Yes.
So,
yes.
and it's because of Shenmue.
Okay.
What made Shenmue 1 and 2 so special? And I'm sorry, if you have something to say, just cut me off, please. I'm
all ears. I know a little bit about Shenmue, but I always love hearing people talk about games they're passionate about. I love it. So, like, this is awesome.
And this is some advice to everybody who's watching this in the chat. You're never too late to experience a passion for an older game.
No, 100%. I was just watching. Mad Kaiser was telling me he's finishing up Chrono Trigger for the first time.
Look at that.
And
Chrono
I
Trigger.
told him I can't wait to hear him gush about that when he's done.
That's a game I need to go
no
back
spoilers in case he's in here, but yeah.
I never finished it.
You never finished it either? Oh, yeah, man.
I never played it on the original system.
Yeah.
It came out on. I own it on the DS.
DS might not have load times either. I'm not sure.
It doesn't. I have it on the DS. I got to a certain point where I just didn't know where to go. I'm not going to spoil anything.
No, I think I know exactly where you're at. There's one era in particular where that happens a lot. Yeah.
Where I have really no direction as to where to go. And God forbid I try to look up a walkthrough. I'm going to get lost in that too. So I'm going to restart the game. I actually restarted it recently, and I went through the trial and everything. So, anyways.
And it doesn't take very long to beat. Like,
I hear it's one of those shorter games.
Well, all games were, right? Even like back then, like the longest that you would expect to spend in an RPG is about 40 to 50 hours tops. Same with Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI you can do in about 40 hours. I remember thinking back in time. Well, the games had more respect for our time back then. I remember thinking back then that this is probably the largest any game should really ever get. And now that was before I played Ultima. Yeah, it was a bad opinion. That was before I played Ultima 7, and I'm just like, oh my God, I am so engrossed. And that game lasted about 70, 80 hours.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because times change and people change along with the times. And I remember back during the 6th and 7th generation of games where I had all the time in the world living with my parents, didn't have to worry about rent, job, just school, had all the time to play games in the world. And for me to hear a game was only 8 to 10 hours was an insult.
No shit.
That's
a sweet spot, baby.
I found that like a lot of gamers found that as an insult back then. So around that time.
But now we're adults with jobs. Now it's sweet spot.
And now we're adults with jobs, responsibilities, and I'm looking at an 8 to 10 hour game, and I'm like, when the hell am I going to have time to finish this fucker? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why when Nish kept pushing me to play Xenoblade 2, and I'm just like, fuck. I mean, Xenoblade will be great, but that's 100-hour fucking game. So, come on, man. Now I'm glad I did. It's amazing.
It's one of the reasons why I don't play JRPGs as much
I hear you.
And
Yeah,
I know the Cold Knights group is huge into JRPGs. I get it. I don't have the time to invest in all those JRPGs. In fact, I have so many JRPGs that I've played through and shelved more than games and JRPGs that I actually finished.
well, I've got them
It's
on the list, but it don't. I mean, that list is 400 plus games long, and some of those games are 100 hours. So, I mean, again,
but you
I'm committed to giving every one of those fucking Switch games a review. But do the math. There's not enough time in this fucking life.
no, you're right. And you've played Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade 2. How did we get from Shenmue to Xenoblade 2? All right, look, we're gonna backtrack and get back
Okay.
on topic. But Xenoblade 2, one of my most favorite JRPGs of all time.
Yeah.
Tell me that twist at Elysium wasn't fantastic.
I didn't think they would have the balls to do it. They did it.
But they did.
They did.
And you loved it.
It was amazing.
I remember going back. I was marathoning your podcast.
Yeah.
I forget who you were talking to at the time about Xenoblade 2.
Probably Nishquick.
It was probably Nishquick. And yeah, I think it was Nishquick's episode. So yeah, you were talking about how you expected to be one of two things, like certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh man, wait till he gets through it.
No, they did it.
I
was touched by that game because, again, so often do you see nihilism depicted as either just like the bad guys in like a very one-dimensional way, or you see nihilism just woefully misunderstood. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the first game I've ever fucking seen that gives you the full scope, the good, the bad, the ugly of nihilism as a philosophy.
Right.
Never seen it done so well before.
Fuck Amadeus.
Huh?
Amadeus. What was his name? Praetor Amadeus?
Yeah, Amalthus. Amalthus. Yeah, no, that guy. See, and he's actually the guy that is. Oh yeah, Rush hasn't played this, so yeah, he's got a bounce. But he said, "Be well, gentlemen." See you later, Rush. Thanks for coming out, man. But
Rush, we're not going to spoil anything anyway, so you don't have to worry.
But he probably has to go anyway because people have lives.
Oh,
but
absolutely, Rush. Thanks for dropping by. I'm sorry, I'm fucking tipsy.
Oh,
I don't know what the hell's going on.
So, with Amalthus, yeah, he was more of a pessimist, which is amazing because the nihilist, the duality of the nihilism was Malos and Rex, were your nihilists.
Right,
and then
right.
Amalthus, or no, Malos was the pessimist. Amalthus was a nihilist. Yeah, Amalthus got pissed with his daddy issues and just wanted to everything.
And Rex was like the complete optimist.
Yeah, well, Rex was a nihilist, but in the sense that, hey, I now understand. He was optimistic. You're right, but that optimism became positive nihilism because what ended up happening? He's like, okay, it turns out that it's as bad as I thought it was going to be, but that's okay because, like, even in a world bereft of meaning, that means that our lives have the meaning we give them, and that's how he was able to persevere. I love Rex as a character.
He is. I love that little guy.
Yeah, and that little guy became a fucking Chad. I've seen those trailers for Xenoblade 3.
I haven't played Xenoblade 3. I haven't even bought it yet.
Also, I think he married up with like both of the Aegises. Like that guy became a fucking Chad.
Fucking Chad. Dude is
Holy
Giga Chad.
Yeah, that is the Giga Chad, like defined. Like 100%.
Hell, I wish I could freaking. If I was Rex, I would fucking marry Pyra and Mithra too.
Like, yeah, that dude cleaned up.
Chad,
that dude cleaned up, man.
And then I hear thing with Nia too. I'm not even gonna get into that, but like,
poor Nia. Poor Nia got friend zoned so hard.
Shafted.
She got fucking
not the right way.
Hard. Man, yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, dude, Rex is a fucking Chad.
No, Rex.
Love that guy.
Yeah, no, Rex, great fucking character. For real. So, All righty. Well, let's take a quick look at the chat. We'll let the chat take over for a few moments, and then let's
Right.
see here.
Yeah.
So I skipped the Wii and Wii U generations. I'm in my 40s for context. Yeah, it makes a lot
Who's
of sense.
that?
That was Keithius LG. So
How you doing, QTSLG?
yeah, and I think I would tell you the Wii's where I re-entered gaming briefly for the first half of the Wii. Then I skipped the Wii U, and then I came back with the Switch in the worst, hardest way fucking possible.
Listen, if you skipped out on the Wii U, whoever you are, you didn't miss out much because
Thank
most
you.
of that shit got ported to the Switch anyway.
Exactly. We're missing Xenoblade X. Like now he said. Now
Right.
Brunstrog makes a great point. Zoo owns a Wii, so he owns a GameCube. That's true. I always forget that. That's
Yeah,
great.
in most cases, most people who own a Wii have a game. You got a souped up GameCube at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
basically. Well, in power, yes. In philosophy, polar opposite.
Far from it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They went after the expanded audience with the Wii, and they succeeded. He says Microsoft buying a studio has historically been its death nail about Star Flop not kicking it. Dreamcast kicked off the 6th gen party, Rush says. Shenmue was a
It did.
yeah, now this is crazy to me. Shenmue was a $70 million game in $1999. Jesus, what's the
Adjusted for macroeconomics.
That's what I'm gonna do it right now. So let's
I had to say it before you did. Cheers.
so we're gonna
Shot.
adjust shot. There we go. Okay.
You gotta tell me how much that is, because holy
I'm doing
shit,
it right now.
that's
Yeah,
more
I'm
than
doing it right now. I got the inflation calculator up. So
that's more than I thought it was gonna be. Hang on, I gotta grab my Shenmue. Where's my baby?
1999. Get ready to hug it tight.
Oh baby, I got it right here. US copy, PAL copy.
$70 million. Make sure it's not 700 million. 1, 2, 3. Get kind
Hang
of
on.
tipsy here.
HD copy.
That's $129,323,109.24 in today's currency.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of fucking money.
Jesus
A
Christ.
lot of fucking money, man.
No wonder Sega dropped it. I can't blame them, honestly.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
from a business perspective, that's
right.
It was the most expensive game.
Yeah. Yu Suzuki had a once-in-a-lifetime chance to wrap up Shenmue's story with Shenmue 3 and still ended it on a cliffhanger. Yeah, this after Shenmue 2 added like a 15-year cliffhanger. Fuck. That's depressing as shit.
You see, the thing with that is that a lot of people expected Shenmue to end at 3. And if you knew what
5
his
games, right?
game plan was, he had more than 3 games.
What did
planned
5?
out.
What did 5?
I think he shrunk it down to 5.
Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. So he was telling the legend.
This was supposed to be a saga.
Okay.
And oh boy, like Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2, I just finished Shenmue 2 earlier this year for the first time. They feel like they're 2 parts of one.
Okay.
But they were split into 2. And because of macroeconomics, well, not really, but maybe, because of Peter Moore, the Americas never got Shenmue 2 on the Dreamcast. So it did come out in PAL territories and in Japan on the Dreamcast. Here I'm holding it, PAL version here.
Okay.
But it came out on the original Xbox instead.
Okay. That would okay.
I have it right. Oh my god, I have no shame here. I love showing off Shenmue. Look at that.
Well, the box art on that is fucking beautiful.
Isn't it fucking beautiful?
Yeah.
And then
it's really
it's got 2 discs. The bonus DVD is Shenmue the movie. So in case, like me, if you didn't play the original Shenmue because you didn't have a Dreamcast,
they even provided. Oh, cool.
You were up to date because they had a movie version of the events of Shenmue 1.
Well, you're
Isn't that fucking cool?
That's awesome. You're going to be proud of me. So I wasn't able to find. So I found a guy who was selling 3 games on the Xbox. The games I have are Blinks to Time Sweeper,
Oh,
Jade
good
Empire,
shit.
and
Oh,
Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance is what I've ordered. So I'm going to give for you. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to borrow my dad's Xbox. I'm going to give him a shot.
you got 3 bangers right there.
Okay.
And I'll one up you. I'll tell you, you need to check out Mortal Kombat Deception after Deadly Alliance because the conquest mode in Deception is meme worthy.
Okay.
So
awesome.
good.
Okay. Coolness. So, all righty. Well, did you have any questions for me? I always like to give the cross-examination period here.
Is the podcast over already?
Yeah, it's getting because it's a weeknight, so yeah, it's almost 10:00 where I'm at. So
Shit, we didn't even get to talk about the Twitter discourse with Gerard. I'm so sorry.
Oh, we're gonna have to do that real quick. Yeah.
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 Let's get to that.
Let's do that. Yeah. That'll
Let's
hold
talk about this.
So yeah, I saw this. I saw that, and let me just say, first and foremost, depending on how that pans out, if that is true, that's super fucking disappointing. Okay. But I want to put it into context. Okay. And so I was doing a little bit of, you know me, I like to kind of do my research on things. And so we're talking about with what Mudahar and Job's put out there, we're talking about roughly 650 grand, right? Now, now full disclosure for so the chat can understand where my opinion falls on this. When we talk about $650,000, we're not talking about $650,000 that's been pocketed or put into another account, anything like that. We're roughly talking about $650,000 aside from administration fees, which are that's a normal thing, that have just sat there. Now, I understand the critique that sitting there, the money's not doing any good for whatever the charity was.
Anybody.
For anybody, and I get that. But I just want this brings it all around full circle when I talk about the gamer rage of the day, the gamer TM rage, all that shit, because we're talking about guys, we're talking about fucking 650 grand here. That is such a small amount of money at the end of the day.
I could do so much with it though.
I could too, but we're talking about the endeavor of curing dementia.
Yeah.
Do you know what the average cost of American medical school is? And that's just medical school. That's not the first 2 degrees. You know what it costs?
I don't know.
$218,792 on average in America.
Oh my god, that's like a quarter of that much.
Yeah,
no, not even a quarter.
That's why I want to put it in perspective. How much good if he put every fucking dime of that money into curing dementia? How much good is it going to do to the cause we're talking about? How much does the average neuroscientist make? Do you know, Chet? The average neuroscientist makes $179,000 to $429,000 a year. So if he picked a good neuroscientist, the guy could pay one fucking neuroscientist with that money, maybe 2. Okay. Now again, I'm not doing this to stick up for Gerard. So full disclosure, I'm not sticking up for this guy. What I'm trying to say is I want you to look at, as a society, how much money gets misappropriated or mismanaged or botched or stolen every fucking day by much larger charities, by governments, by how much wage theft does the average corporation do to you?
Look how much I get ripped off from my paycheck every fucking
100% wage theft. Wage theft is in the billions every year. And again, that's not to justify the mismanagement here. It looks like at the worst, it looks corrupt, and at the least, it looks like bad mismanagement. But I feel like a lot of this outrage is overgrown. And I think that it's going to be a YouTube topic for YouTubers. And I'm going to argue that these fucking rage bait YouTubers are going to make a lot more money They're going to make a lot more fucking money.
Let's see what RGT85 has to say about this one.
That's okay. I'm willing to talk to anybody because, again, I'm not sticking up
Bring
for
it on.
Gerard. Like, what Gerard should do is he should immediately, right now, fucking donate that money to the causes he said he should do it. He should do that. He should donate it right fucking now. But I also want to keep this into perspective that in terms of the crimes, the financial crimes that are being waged against gamers right now by this industry and by the crimes at large being waged in this world, I just think that gamers could probably be outraged. I wish I saw half as much outrage at Konami's Silent Hill Ascension as I saw in this charity deal. And I think I'll leave my nuclear fucking take at that. Again, not standing up for Gerard. Not at all. Just saying that we got to keep this real, guys. We've got to keep this in perspective. That did he fuck up? It at least bad? Yes. Did he do something corrupt at worst? Yeah. But I've seen you all literally equivocate so much bigger stuff. I see motherfuckers equivocate what Madden does to the gaming space every fucking year. FIFA
on the Switch
every fucking year. And so what I'm trying to say is I just can't, because of, in the grand scheme of the issues going on in the games industry, is it bad? Yeah, but I just can't bring myself to care that much. Like, if it comes out that money ends up going into a Cayman Islands fucking account or some shit, like, yeah, now you'll hear me care. But until that fucking happens, I think this is outrage for outrage's sake, a lot of it. It looks bad.
Isn't that what runs Twitter?
That's
these
my
days,
point.
or
That's my fucking point.
Everybody's looking to tear somebody down for whatever reason it is.
Well, and that's why
just to make themselves feel better about themselves.
And I think that's why my post literally encapsulates my thoughts. And it's not pro Gerard, it's not anti Gerard. If you saw my Twitter post on this, guys, you'll literally see I said, "Gee, Zoo, why don't you want to be internet famous?" And I think that encapsulates it. Like, it's the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And that would be my other advice to Gerard. Not that he's gonna fucking listen to me, like little ass me, but like, Gerard, is your life better right now, buddy? Being internet famous? Or if you had it to do over again, would you probably wish that you'd never done any of that shit?
I never watched a completionist video.
I like the completionist. I thought he seemed, but again, you got to keep in mind that you're not getting the whole story. Like, again, I am when I watch the completionist, I'm watching a ghost of a person. I'm watching an echo of an actual human being. I don't know the real Gerard, and I don't know shit about.
You don't know his personal life.
Yeah.
You don't know he has.
I have no idea.
Neither should you care.
Exactly. It's
because
and
you
that's
should always
exactly
care about what you see.
Exactly. Like, again, to go
and what they allowed you to see.
To go beyond that is intrusive and it's ugly. And
it's sad because a lot of content creators out there suffer from this, because I see a lot of content creators, big and small, who have to deal with people who feel like they know who they're a fan of. A lot of fans think they know who the person is.
They don't.
At a deeper level. And they fucking don't know shit. You don't know. I'm just saying, let's use me as an example. My fan base doesn't know what I go through on a daily basis. They don't know what I go through at home. All they know is what I show them.
Exactly.
What I choose to share with you. And I'm not going to share every little detail of my personal life with you, because it's, quite frankly, nobody's business. Second of all, sorry, Zoo, go on.
No, in my case, it would actually be extraordinarily fucking boring too.
Oh,
Believe me
that's
when
besides the point. Yeah, I'm
believe me
very boring.
believe me when I say, folks, I show you the most interesting part of myself.
Same here. Like honestly, if you think Scorpio Caesar in real life is anything extraordinary, trust me, it's not. The Caesar Arcade is what you see,
I'm
and
no
that's the most.
I'm no fucking Dos Equis guy, for sure. And that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, again, you're like I told one guy, I was in a DM with a guy. I said, how about this, man? I said, again, what you're seeing is a curated internet ghost. You're not seeing the real me, but I am giving you a piece of me, and so let my content be the way you know me, and let my interactions with you be the way I know you. And let's leave it
Exactly.
at that. And that is the beauty and the magic of the internet at its greatest.
At the present and the future, it's when people start going to the past, when they start digging up bullshit about what so and so thought
Oh
about a
God.
certain person's political views
Oh,
or personal views or whatever rant they were going on in the past that has no bearing on the individual today.
people change.
Everybody
Yeah,
grows.
people
People
change.
change. People grow. Hell, like, fuck. I've said stupid shit on Facebook years ago that I look back at now and like shake my head at because it's just like, why are you posting stupid shit
Well, and at the end of the
at the
day,
end of
yeah,
the day?
same with
It
me.
don't matter.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, and by the way, I invite anybody to do this. Go back because it's all still there. Go to GameFAQs. Type in Munganzu. Go to SNES Hub. It's all fucking there, guys. And you can see it. And I go back and I cringe at some of that shit because at the end of the day, if you're in the same place now as you were 10, 15 fucking years ago, that's a person. That sounds like a personal that sounds like quite a personal failure to me.
You did
Um,
not grow one bit.
yeah, like
Then holy shit.
literally every 7 years, every cell in your body is replaced. It's died and been replaced with replicated or new cells. Every seven
I'm
years.
not I'm not the same Scorpio Caesar I was when I
No,
first started YouTube.
I'm not
Hell,
either, and I've only been doing this less than a year.
I didn't even have the same username. I kept changing names until I
Yeah,
came up with something good.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, did he goof? Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, is that it's no big deal. It really isn't. It may become a big deal depending on how he handles the now massive backlash, but as of right now, it's no big deal.
If
It'll
if
work
there
itself out
was
one way or the other.
miscommunication amongst whoever he was involved with, listen, these bigger YouTubers, let's be honest, do these charity things all the fucking time. And more power to them. Hell, if I could fucking run a charity, I would if I could. But at the same time,
Well, and I guess this opens up a bigger
people make
conversation. Yeah, people
people
make
make
mistakes.
mistakes.
But on top of that, let's talk about charity for a minute because honest to God, like this opens up a larger discussion about charity in general, which I think is worth having. Um, I think at the end of the day, that a lot of times charity gives us a false sense of security that somebody out there is doing something about this issue, when maybe in reality, as we just saw, maybe nobody's doing something about this fucking issue. And so I'm not
Can I be
saying,
honest with you here?
yeah, yeah.
How many fucking charities have? I'm sorry for cursing. I don't really swear in my videos.
I curse all the fucking time, man. You're fine.
I'm let's be sailors today because we have enough alcohol and rum in our bodies
Oh,
as can be as the greatest pirates of the Caribbean.
arr!
How many fucking charities and fundraisers have been done for cancer and yet there's still no fucking cure for fucking cancer?
Well, that's because, and let's be honest, that's because the money's not in the cure. The money is in the money is in the
Right.
treatment. A cured customer is no longer a customer, especially when you have
Exactly.
a especially when you have a for-profit healthcare like we currently have, man.
Oh,
And that's why at the end of the day, like I said, like and I'm not shitting on charity in general. I think that there's a lot of great I'm sure there's a lot of great charities out there. St. Jude to me comes to mind. To me, that's kind of the quintessential charity. And be fair, I don't know shit about St. Jude either. What I'm trying to say is if you were to pull that tax ID number like they did in that video and apply that to most of the charities, I think you would find very similar things. And again,
oh,
that's not to besmirch charity. But I do think there's an important and wider conversation that we could have about is charity in general the best way to tackle these problems. I'm not so convinced it is. I think a lot of times at charity we all feel powerless, especially in this modern society. And I think a lot of times that charitable givings, when I give the Shamrock or whatever, or when I write a check for $1,000 to this charity, when I do that, am I really solving the problem? Am I even coming close? Or am I simply giving myself the self satisfaction and the illusion that I'm helping to do something about a problem that in reality is not something that can be tackled by anybody, let
money.
alone a charity, by money? Yes. Again, I gave you the costs of a neurosurgeon, I gave you the costs of medical school. Like these are
You
expensive
you
things.
bring you bring up an excellent point. It's just like
And at the end of the day,
I
it goes back to Dunbar's number. These are problems that no individual can solve. These are problems that
right.
need a collective solution. These are problems that we really need larger organizations for, which I think is the point of charity. But given what we've seen here lately, I just don't know if that's the best way to solve these issues. And again, I'm not saying it's not. I'm opening this up for discussion.
I think it's like you said, not taking it away from anybody who's doing these charity events,
No.
but you're right. In a way, it makes it feel like people are doing these charity events to make themselves feel better
Yeah, I fought.
about it.
Hey, here's $1,000. I fought cancer. Bitch, you didn't fight shit.
You didn't fight
It
shit,
still kills 100,000
but
fucking people a year, Zoo. You didn't fight shit.
eh,
This is
and you
drunk me talking to fucking charity me.
but you feel better about yourself for
But I
doing it,
feel
right?
good.
For
I feel good
donating.
when I give the check. Yeah. Yeah, it
Doesn't
feels
matter
great.
at the end of the day because at least you feel good at the end of the day, right?
I feel good, but it didn't solve the problem.
It didn't solve the problem. Right, right, exactly.
And
People are outrunning their problems with charity.
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like again, are we really doing anything about this? Because here's the thing. I don't have the brain that can cure cancer. Somewhere out there is a fucking guy that has the brain that can do that. And again, this is an effort. I don't know that broad charity is the way to find that guy and elevate that guy and give that guy the fucking funding he needs to do that. But he's out there somewhere,
Or she.
or she. Yeah, they're out there. And I guess what I'm asking is what is the best way to find that person and give them the resources to do it? And that should be what we have that's
The
what we
world
need
may
to
never
focus
know.
all of our attention. Yeah, well, and it won't because again, I don't think they want to cure any of this shit. But again,
Yeah.
that's me being fucking drunk and paranoid. So I don't know how.
Uh, I would think that if they could, they would have by now.
Well, and let's break that down real quick. There's actually a charitable view of that and an uncharitable view, and I'll give both. Charitable view of that is that these are problems that simply have great complexity. Take something like cancer, for example, right? What a great subject. But anyway, take something like cancer. What cancer is it's actually the radicalization of your own cells as they attempt to replicate that every 7 years process, basically doing damage to your own body. So it's literally, if you cure cancer, you're literally curing you basically have found the cure for life itself, essentially immortality. If you can, it stops the aging process. Is essentially what a cure for cancer would do. Now, human brains, as we've talked about, and from my background, I come from a background of a trained hypnotist. So what I mean by that is I understand that we're not the most coherent or rational creatures. Are human
Definitely
brain
not me.
are human brains really built to do something like cure cancer? I don't necessarily know that we are. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try. But I do think that there are cognitive limitations to singular people. So that's the charitable reason on why something like cancer hasn't been cured, although we made great
Right.
gains against it. The uncharitable view is that every patient cured is no longer a patient. So the actual money would be in the treatment that is very expensive over long periods of time. Now, where does the truth lie? Probably somewhere in the middle there. There's probably some of both, to be honest. But again, but you see what you and I did to a couple of drunk motherfuckers at 10 o'clock at night, and you see what we were able to expand this brainlet, lowbrow conversation about $650 fucking $1,000 that gamers TM are collectively shitting their pants over. Do you see how much more in depth and useful this conversation could be if we would just fucking elevate our consciousness just half a decibel?
And we're fucking drunk.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't even like we've given our brain cells a beating tonight, and I still feel like the conversation you and I just had is smarter than what's going on with this collective outrage right now on this.
Crack down on social media in general, and fucking stay off it, because a lot of people are just, man, weird.
Well, and I'll tell you,
You just stop.
And X it's X now, and so it's turned into an absolute shit show. Like, I barely use it. I'm mostly in the Discord, as you see now. Like, it's just
you're right. I'm the same way. I mostly use Discord nowadays anyway.
Like you said, self promo, and like just there's a few peeps I like to interact with, because they're
on a more personal level. And
well, yeah, well, for example, like OJ has a Discord, but he's not there a lot. So I'll go to Twitter, and that's where
he's always on Twitter, though.
That's what I'm saying. I always find OJ on Twitter, and yeah, that kind of there's one of the people I like. TRGT85, same thing. Like, he's very active on Twitter. I'm sure we're gonna get another fucking Switch 2 video now that I mentioned.
Digital Foundry just made a Switch 2 video. Holy shit! We need to talk about it.
We need to talk about it. It's like
Richards,
and it's him in the corner looking stupid. And again, I say that with love. RGT's the homie. I love him, but
I don't know him personally. I just know his content.
He's a good guy.
I'm sure he is. Hell, the guy nearly died recently and somehow came back. Power to him.
Yeah,
I was like,
he's good people, but it has some fucking dumbass takes from time to time. But I can say that about me. I got some.
Same here.
I got some fucking dumbass takes. Remember me saying, what did I say? The GameCube was like one of the worst systems. Like, there you go. It's okay.
Oh, that was a dumbass.
That was a dumbass fucking thing. Yes.
That was a dumb fucking thing.
So we all have,
is phenomenal.
We all have them. That's the point. So, all righty. Well, I guess I guess we got one last question for you before we get off of here, and then we'll kick the chat out. We'll chat for a little bit in private. But did you have fun?
Of course, I've had fun, dude. Like, the only time I've ever gotten tipsy since the last time I got tipsy.
When's the last time?
All right, so back when we first got this house,
okay,
my wife and I had her friends over.
All right,
I got so shit-faced drunk I was throwing up in the toilet. The day I drank on an empty stomach Fireball whiskey, fucking bourbon.
No!
On an empty stomach, I ended up
giving me PTSD, homie.
I put on one of her Lolita dresses. I don't even fucking remember. She remembers because she has the video somewhere.
That's amazing.
So I was done, dude. By afternoon, I felt so embarrassed. And the worst part about it was, I felt so much. I guess so much stomach acid went down the toilet that the septic, the sub pump from the sewage. So I had to get that replaced the following day. Basically, none of my water was running that night. And it was bad.
Oh, let me give you my Fireball story. I don't drink Fireball anymore. And there's a reason for
me neither.
I've not drank Fireball. This is back when I was still in college. This is business college zoo. And
liquefied Big Red.
and I was working. I was working. Oh God. So
Tell me what happened.
So I got off. So I was working part time at this grocery store as a meat cutter of all things, and one of the stockers was like, "Hey, why don't we kick it after? Let's go kick it." So me and a few people from the store went back to my place. We bought like several of those Totino's fucking meat lovers party pizzas. We bought
Oh,
two. We bought
sweet.
we bought 2 handles of Fireball, and we
Oh
bought one of those
no.
TGIF frozen buffalo wings, boneless buffalo wings, and some mac and cheese,
Oh.
Stouffer's mac and cheese.
Oh.
You know where this
No.
is going, yeah. So we got there,
Oh my god.
and at first I had a good buzz. We're drinking, and then fucking Joe's stupid ass is like, power hour. Who wants to bang with a power hour? And so I'm like, being a stupid motherfucker, I'm like, I'll do it. Power hour. So we put the songs on, and it was like the 2000s mix, early 2000s mix. So it had like fucking Chandelier and shit on there. And
Good shit.
I'll never forget. Like, so basically, you know what a power hour is, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Tell me. What
So
is
power
it?
hour is 60 minutes with 60 songs, and basically there'll be a song play, and then at the end
Okay.
of that 1 minute of that song, the song will get interrupted, and you'll hear shot, shot, shot. And at that point, you have to take a shot. So
Okay.
a power hour is 60 shots across 60 songs. 1 shot a minute. So we took that handle of Fireball, and as everybody else watched, Joe and he could drink like a fucking tank. Like, he still could drink me under the table, even in those
Right.
days. So he won the power hour, rest assured. And then I woke up the next day in my bed,
Mm-hmm.
and my entire match was ruined with macaroni and cheese, buffalo wings, and pizza gunk that I laid in all night. And then I woke up, and I was so fucking sore, and I was so hungover, I continued to lay in my own fucking vomit mattress for like the next like 7 hours.
Okay, that's okay. That's bad.
That's a
Drew.
miserable
That's real
story. That's a
bad.
miserable story. But that's why I don't fuck with Fireball anymore. So
I don't
lessons were
blame you.
learned. Lessons were learned. And at the end of the day, that's what's
Part of growing. Part of
So yeah,
growing.
Fireball is dangerous. Dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
So,
It is.
but on that note, we're gonna go ahead and kick the chat out. Thank you so much, everybody that came on tonight. We'll get out of here. We'll talk
Thank
a
you for
little bit in
joining.
private, and then we'll see if Jay's still fucking streaming. Maybe go hop on his if he's still streaming.
There
Take
you
care.
go.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for watching.